Hello, everyone. My name is Criezis, and welcome to the next installment of NielsenIQ's Founder Series. This new video series will dive into the many facets of launching a CPG brand, from perfecting the formulation to securing a meeting with retailers, from getting on a retailer's shelf to scaling the business. Each episode will shine a light on the challenges and successes of startup CPG brands. Joining me today to share his story as a CPG founder is Jake Karls, creator of Midday Squares. Welcome, Jake.
Andrew, thank you so much. I'm super fired up to be here today, and I'm excited to get a little deep into some topics. And yeah, energized, fired up, mornings out. Let's do it.
Love it. Love it. Let's dive right in. Let's have some fun. So quick introduction. Who are you, Jake? And kind of what's your story? How did you create the brand?
So yeah, my name is Jake Karls, and I'm one of the co-founders. We're three of us. So we're a family business. It's me, my sister, and my brother-in-law. So it's really like a mix of some good drama in there. But we didn't go into business because we're family. We actually complement each other tremendously. So what one's good at, the other one's not good at, and what the other one's not good at,
Love
the
it.
other one's good at. It's like a very strong tripod if you want to look at it like that. But the business started, it was very interesting. My sister was actually making a chocolate snack just as a hobby for her husband, Nick, because he was snacking every day at like 2-3 p.m. on like chocolate and like having more sugar chocolate that was based on palm oil and all this stuff. And he would get like these crashes after it. He would just slow down and eat a lot of it and he'd never be full. So she made him this plant-based snack, this chocolate, dark chocolate that was delicious. And he brought it to his office and the team freaked for it. They were like, this is incredible. And long story short, fast forward a little bit, months of that was going on. And my sister ended up closing her fashion brand. And my brother-in-law sold out of his software company. And they wanted to work together on something. And food was a passion of both of theirs. And they just didn't know what to do. They didn't realize the product was right in front of their faces. They were having every single day. But
Yeah.
they ended up looking at a couple of categories like morning oats, some other categories. And they couldn't make a product that was actually better than the ones in the market. But then my brother-in-law received a report from a big conglomerate here in Canada, and it showed that chocolate, so real chocolate, was growing at like 44% year over year, and that vegan protein was on like a tear at like 30-something% year over year. And he realized in his head, holy cow, Leslie, my sister, his wife, was making a baby of these two massive growth categories. And that's when they came to me and they're like, we have this epic product and we need you to build the brand, build the noise, get us noticed. And I was like, you know what? The food world is so saturated. There's amazing brands in it, but it's too saturated. So I rejected it for 3 months. And then finally I joined as the third co-founder and I had a great idea. I said, we're going to create a reality show on entrepreneurship, show the good, the bad, the ugly of building a business and supplement that with a great product. And we'll stand out on the shelf with the 30,000 other products that are in the grocery stores.
Love it. Well, that's awesome. And I love the fact that it's like your initial reaction, right? As your sister was sharing with you is like, no, but then you saw the potential and you're like, all right, we've got to do it. We've got to do it right. And we love the story here. So very cool. Now tell me about, so that early stage, right? You kind of had the product, the formulation. It didn't give that crash that, had been experienced in the past. Like what steps did you take? Where'd you go from there?
Yeah. So first off, when my sister was making it as like a snack at the house, just like Nick, the kicker was that it wasn't commercialized. So the macros weren't where they were supposed to be. We didn't know, there was no research done. Then we worked with McGill University here. They're a very well-respected university in Canada. And they helped us just commercialize the product. So we wanted a good amount of fiber, a good amount of protein, and we wanted it to also taste epic, but make sure it doesn't bloat you or make you feel like, shitty after eating it. And I think they helped us that. So that brought us to the commercialization. And what brought us from the commercialization to actually launching the product was we were actually making the bars in our condo kitchen, like my sister's condo kitchen. The three of us every single day from 5 a.m. till 5 p.m. We'd make like 100 bars a day max. And then we would go hand deliver them across Montreal where we live because we couldn't afford shipping. And then we were like, okay, well, we got to scale this. Like you can't just burn out and work 12-hour days, 15-hour days, hand rolling bars. And we went to actually 26 different co-manufacturers across North America and in Europe. And they're the best in the chocolate and the bar category. And what they told us, everyone gave us the same answer. They said, we can't scale this product. It's very difficult. It's very complex the way you do your chocolate and the way that you slap it onto the brownie bottom. And they said, you either need to invest in our factories to figure out how to build these new machineries out to support this product, or you change the product and let us use our typical machinery that is typically done for a bar format or a chocolate bar format. And my sister and I and my brother-in-law said, screw that. We're going to go build out our own factory. And that's when we had no choice to go out and build a factory here in Montreal, which is now supported by our government here. And it's fully automated as of September 10th this year. It'll be fully automated.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it can support 90,000 bars a day, from 100 bars a day to 90,000 with the same quality, which is interesting.
And how many can you deliver to my house?
Conveyor
belt right in.
As long as the logistics companies can get the product to you.
Yeah, there we go.
Pallets.
Love it, Jake. Well, that's awesome. And I'd love to see the decision making, right? The strategy of, we need to take this in-house, because I think there's a lot of startups that struggle with that decision. Obviously, it's also getting an investment. And so I think that's a good story about how you're able to partner from a government standpoint. So now you've got the capability to build the product and manufacture at scale. How have you gone about the landscape of retail?
So right now we're about a 70-30 business in terms of retail and then D2C, 30% D2C. For us, retail is where we're heading. We really believe in retail, going long on it over time. Something interesting about retail is we've attracted a lot of buyers, managers, or HQ level, staff from retailers through our storytelling. So, I think every company has to have product market fit. If you want to make it to any type of scale, your product needs to fit the market and people got to like it, right? So that should be a standard. I think what's really allowing us to thrive in retail and get the attention and then get on the store shelves and then remain there is we do a very unique way of telling our story. We go out there and we document everything in our journey. And I mean, like, our first hire in 2018, August 2018, was a videographer before an R&D specialist. Think about that. We truly believe in basically taking Shark Tank meets the Kardashians, meets Elon Musk, and making a baby with this to show the good, the bad, the ugly of building a business. And what it's doing is it's showing consumers that this is what it actually takes to build a business. It's not all flowers and sunshine. It's real. There's like real emotions. There's human problems. There's all kinds of issues, scaling, labor shortages, raising money, lawsuits. All these things are real. And we show the emotions and the things that go on behind it. And that allows us to get hundreds of thousands of views organically, which then drives the buyers to come to us and say, oh, I love this. And then they try the product and it reinforces the epicness of the content and the epicness of the product. And that's how we've been able to actually grow retail doors while actually staying relevant and popping in the store.
Yeah, and so that's feeding your cycle, which is great around the loyalty side, right? So it's the brand recognition, the interesting content, splicing with the product. It's a really cool kind of combination that you've created, and it's obviously showing in the numbers. You hit on something there with a number of challenges, right? It's not always green, easy, grass is greener over here, come start your own business. What are some of the biggest challenges you face? Like, how did you get past those?
So currently the biggest challenge we're facing is manufacturing. So, when you're trying to run a business, and this is my biggest fear, and I guess my partners as well, is, are we spreading ourselves too thin? And what I mean by spreading ourselves too thin is, we run a manufacturing plant that has to get to, this massive scale in order to see its gross margin hit the right number, right? That's never been done before. Keep that in mind. Then we're running an entire operation team, sales, marketing, finance, all that stuff. That's typically in every regular company, right? And then on top of that, we have an entirely different type of a media company within our company. So, the creation of content is all done in-house. So we're running three different things. And what I worry about is, if too much energy goes to one place, will one part fall, the dominoes will start to hit. And I think we're seeing that. We've grown revenue at 100% year over year. That's been a big win for us, but it applies a lot of pressure on different categories of the business. And I think that that's our biggest problem. And the way we've gone through this is not necessarily surrounding ourselves with experts. I don't think that's the answer. It's the three of us as partners have worked tremendously on our partnership with a business therapist, and some of our team members use this. So what we do is we see this business therapist once a week, which keeps us in a mode of being energized, feeling good, not holding resentment, having strong leadership and communication. I think is extremely important. Then number two is not listening to the noise out there. There's a lot of noise in your ear to do this a certain way, to do that a certain way. Everyone wants to tell you how to do certain things. If you listen to everyone, you're going nowhere. We've learned to trust our gut. And then number three, I would say the third most challenging thing is is building a team. You know, we're 80 people, a culture that is something where people want to be and have fun at, and actually give their energy as much as we're giving our energy. I think those are the three most challenging things, but we've worked hard, and brick by brick, bar by bar, if you want to call it, we're getting better and better at all this stuff. And it's becoming, as time goes on, yes, there's different problems, but the ones that the overall arcing hard stuff is becoming a little bit easier, a little bit better every day.
Yeah, love it. Well, I want to go a little bit deeper into one topic there, just because I feel like it's so core to how you started your brand. I want to go deep on the family side. So many companies, so many emerging brands start connected to family, whether it's, family partner, family investment. Can you just shed a little bit of light? You started to hit on it, which I think was really interesting, of how you manage this on a weekly basis. But how do you work with family? Like, any advice for those who are starting out new with a co-founder or an investor that's family?
Yes, this is a topic that doesn't get discussed enough. I think people like to choose family as partners because it's easier at the beginning. Basically, you're more comfortable. But what happens is, if you're just going into business because they're comfortable and it's easier, you're going to have a problem arise over time.
Down the road.
You need to pick your partners who are best suited to work with you in terms of building a business. Family and business are completely different. And the promise my brother-in-law made August 2018, when we launched the company, and I had to sign a paper and I'll never forget it, was we are going to see a business therapist named Dr. James Gavin. He is an incredible human. Every single week, mandatory, in good or bad times. And the idea behind it was to understand each other deeply, but also protect our family relationship.
I love it. Yeah.
They're married, and it's my sister, my brother-in-law, and also to make us better leaders and better communicators with each other. So not hold tension, understand what bothers each other. How do we elevate each other and have a safe zone? And I was at first very hesitant, Andrew, because I came to a place, I was in a fraternity, I was wild, I thought I was always happy and all this stuff. Yeah. And I was kind of like, I'm just doing this because I trust you as my partner. I don't really want to do this. And now I've become the biggest advocate for it because it's changed my life. And it's the only reason why Midday Square still exists today, is because we go every week committed 2-hour sessions to speaking with this therapist and working with each other on very difficult conversations. And even with team members, bringing them into the conversation, having them come. That's the goal. We want to have that as a future for all of our teammates to use as a resource, because building a business that's hyper growing while it's falling apart at the same time is an immense amount of pressure. So if you cannot have hard conversations with each other, if you cannot be emotionally intelligent on certain things, everything will collapse and your whole life will probably fall apart. So again, pick your partners, not because they're family, pick them because they're the right partners. If it's family, it's greater because you could celebrate. Those joyful moments are crazy. Sure. Those hard moments are really deep. They go really deep in. So it's a big swing, but protect it.
Yep. And I think that just the amazing advice and the path that you guys went on is you were proactive with it, right? Like, I think that's what's an amazing concept, is that you knew going into it, we're going to need to address this down the road. Let's put the investment in our time every week. Right. I think that's, for all the listeners, that's just fantastic advice, is don't wait until it's, hit a roadblock and you've got issues, right? Let's get proactive even in the good times. So great advice. Now, I want to pivot a little bit here.
Hey, one thing there. We spend between $60,000 and $80,000 a year on therapy right now. Our investors, because we have venture money, love it. They love that is an expense.
Very cool. Yeah.
Because they know that the business needs the founders or our partnership to remain so strong.
Totally.
Because a lot of businesses fail due to founder conflict.
I think that's actually a brilliant fact that, our listeners can take to heart, right? There's money behind the investment in the relationships and the time, right? And the mental aspect of it. Because at the end of the day, it's a mental game, right? That you're going through.
All mental. It's all mental.
All right, cool. Well, thanks, Jake. So let's pivot here. I want to go a different path. It's also a mental component here, right? But it's using a different side of your brain sometimes, the data side. Tell me about how you've used data. How have you used insights? How is that shaping like where you're going with the brand?
So I think, Andrew, you kicked an important point here, because it's all fun and games to create content and build your company, fun, dance, all this stuff, cry, whatever you want to talk about. But at the end of the day, you need to make your decisions according to data. And what Midday Squares does really well is it's not my side of the business, but my brother-in-law is a software engineer by trade. And our VP of sales, actually, Mike Scavuzzo, is addicted to data. So the way that they sell into stores, the way they work with the retailers after we've attracted the attention, is they use narrative-based selling. So through data on how we're doing, why we're incremental to the sets, what we add value to their life for. And I think that that's what's operating our actual business strategy. So everything we do from flavor launches to, opening doors, what stores to go into, to where we locate our product or even our manufacturing plant is all done through data analysis. And we've actually hired more and more software engineers for internally to start analyzing this data consistently, because we run this company completely on data. Yes, we have our gut feelings, and I think it's important to have both. You have to have your gut a little bit here, but your direction and your guidance should come from where the data is coming. So we utilize it tremendously. And if you're a business today and you're not using the data, the insights for especially retail, then you're really missing opportunities. And communication with your retailers and buyers, they want to see the data. They truly want to, and they're watching it, by the way. Don't think that they're not seeing you sell this many units per store per week against this product. They know what they're going into typically before. So if you're not following where data is going, I think you've missed the boat.
Yeah, I think that's spot on. You got to be coming with your story. And oftentimes we talk to brands about coming in with your story into retail. There's the brand story. There's all the, hype that you're building up about it. I've got consumers who want this product. But you've got to have the data that actually proves whether it's velocities, loyalty, right? Are they coming back to you? And where retailers are super impressed is when you come with that, right? Rather than kind of reactively looking for it. So awesome advice. Jake, this has just been a fantastic session here. I know we went a couple topics pretty quickly here, but it's just really deep and I think meaningful that our viewers will get a lot of. So thank you, Jake. What an awesome story. We'll talk about this, I think, again and again, and probably get you on another series. But this has been another episode of the NielsenIQ Founders Series, where we dive deep into some of the most innovative brands, founders to unpack how brands launch and grow in the CPG space. This video is brought to you by NielsenIQ, where we are revolutionizing the CPG industry, democratizing data and analytics for emerging brands. To learn more, check out Byzer and click the link below, byzzer.com. Thank you.